Hey, what's up everybody? This is the Classic Tycoon here, and we're back for another Planet Coaster Career Mode video. Today we're going to be tackling our first medium difficulty Career Mode park, and this is going to be under the Dex R's Science Shenanigans category. So taking a look at it, it's going to be night encounters, and basically it's an all nighttime scenario, which is kind of interesting. And yeah, so there's no daytime, so it was a little bit difficult. Hopefully you won't, or hopefully you'll be able to see everything okay after it all gets put on YouTube and everything, because the entire scenario, like I said, is only at night. But yeah, let's jump in and see what we got here.
Now this is a most curious location, is it not? A theme park forever shrouded in darkness and mysteriously abandoned by its previous management.
Abandoned. They were clearly abducted by aliens.
Oh, Lucy, no. They abandoned it. Probably because they weren't up to the task of running a park. For instance, they didn't even have any research on shops or facilities. Doesn't it make more sense that they were so ashamed by their shortcomings that they simply fled in embarrassment?
Nah, I'm sticking with aliens.
Alright, so tasks: achieve a park rating of 1,000, reach a monthly profit of 10,000, build 5 flat rides, reach a monthly profit of from rides of 5,000 for medium. Our easy one is just to get a scenery rating of 50, which is already at 31. So the tricky thing about this is definitely the profit, I would say, and getting that park rating up to 1,000. Luckily, you know, like I've said before, the nice thing in these scenarios is there's no time limit on it. We don't have to reach a park rating of 1,000 by the end of year 3 or anything like that. So time isn't nearly as big of a factor in these games, or in these first scenarios at least. So right here, as you can see, I need to actually research all of my rides. I need to research my food and my drink stalls and all of that. None of that is available at the beginning, which is kind of disappointing, honestly. I get that they need to teach people how to research, but at least have like a couple of rides so we can get some research going and then build while we wait for our research. I thought that was, you know, a little bit annoying, but we're gonna get some food and drink stalls researching here, and then we'll check out what we have. We'll also, as you can see, I'm looking through right here, and there's no rides at all available, so we got to research some rides. And then you literally just have to sit and wait for your rides to research until you can actually build any rides. So we're gonna get the Rocktopus there going, because we already have 2 very intense rides going in the park, as you can see, on both sides. So to have the Rocktopus be just a gentle ride would be good. So in the meantime, while I wait, I'm just going to do a little bit of decorating to get us toward that first goal of reaching the 50 whatever scenery rating, and building now some of these food and drink stalls that are already pre-decorated will help toward that goal as well. So we already have a bunch of guests in our park, so they're gonna be hungry. That's why I took care of food and drink first. We'll throw all these, as you can see, litter bins all over the park. Make sure that guests are throwing stuff away. That is always a big mistake. If you don't put in litter bins, then people just throw their trash everywhere, and your park rating will plummet, and people will just abandon your park. Our only drink stall available is a Cosmic Cow milkshake. I don't get how that... I mean, I guess I could see that being a drink, but I've always seen milkshakes as more of a food item. Alright, so our octopus is finished researching, so that's our first ride that we're going to throw in. We have some other rides researching right now as well. And in the meantime, while we wait for those other rides to research, we'll put in the octopus, and then we'll go ahead and decorate it, get it looking nice as well. By the way, one thing I wanted to go over here, if you want to do some good decorating of rides, is you can actually disable, you can see I just clicked disable scenery collision, which means that I can actually put scenery inside of my rides. And it's not a cheat code or anything like that. It's not, it's not affecting achievements or anything. It just makes it much easier to decorate your rides and your coasters so that they don't run into each other. And you can see there's different options there as well: disable coaster collision, disable ride collision, disable terrain collision. So I might play around with some of those in the future. We'll see, but yeah, I think that can make things a little bit easier especially to decorate things the way you want. So what I wanted to do with this octopus is just try and change it from an octopus into something a little bit more sci-fi, since this park is a science, kind of a sci-fi based park. So I tried a bunch of these. This is the one that I end up landing on, and it just looks a little bit better than having a big octopus there, which doesn't really fit the theme of the park, which is the aliens or whatever, right? So we're going to start by really decorating up this octopus, and this is all part of getting that first star. And I just wanted to use the time to kind of, practice my decoration skills. Try and get myself a little bit, a little bit more practice with getting things looking the way that I want them to.
Goodness! Already you've dug in and made a real difference to the park. And without a single day passing, I think. There's something strange about the way time seems to pass in this place.
Alright, so as you can see, the first star was not difficult at all to complete. So our next goal is to build the 5 flat rides and then start getting a profit of $5,000 a month. So right here, this is just a little test. Putting the lights there, they ended up being a little bit too bright, so I ended up filling this with a few other things to make it look a little bit less grassy in between the walls that I built here and the pathway. And what I end up doing is just throwing some rocks in there, and that helps to kind of get that color contrast a little bit better inside of this area. All right, so we're gonna throw in a couple more rides here. And as you can see, I'm just going to throw in now some foliage in the decoration. That always makes things look good. So what I thought I would do with this ride here is kind of make it like a space battle. So we've got these animatronics here of humans and aliens kind of fighting each other. So I'm going to throw some of these alien and human animatronics down. And then it looks like there's kind of this space battle going on that you're riding this ride in between. We'll take a look at it in just a second. So there's what it looks like. We've got the humans on the left from this angle, the aliens on the right. Then right here you can see these ones that kind of look like they're typing. I just throw a little computer looking things in front of them. That way it looks like they're actually typing on something rather than just typing out on the air. Alright, so I mean at this point, you know, it's just about park management. We got to build one more flat ride, I think, to get to that second star. And then it's a matter of making the money and getting our park rating up. So we'll research some more rides so that we don't have just the same rides over and over again in the park. And at this point you might have noticed there aren't any roller coasters available to be researched, which was a big disappointment to me, especially with how much money we're supposed to be bringing in each month with rides. You know, that kind of sucked, to be honest. But it is what it is. It creates more of a challenge. We got to bring in $10,000 a month just with flat rides. So that's what we're gonna end up having to do. As I just throw in these kind of lit barriers around this particular ride, give it a little bit more of an aesthetic. And with this park, I noticed what looked pretty good was, lighting things up, since it's always nighttime, so having a lot of light around is a little bit helpful for the park. As you can see, I kind of build a ride and then research a ride, build a ride, research. At the beginning of the park, it's a little bit more difficult to research because you need the money. But really, money wasn't too much of an issue in this park. Once you get a few of these flat rides going, you already had the two big ones that they give you at the beginning, which helped out a lot. So making money in this park wasn't really an issue. Okay, so there we go. Easy and medium missions done. Now we just need to get to that 1,000 park rating. We're sitting at 722, and then reach that monthly profit of 10,000, which we're about, almost going to be at 6,000 at the end of this month of April. I think if we just keep building, throw in some more rides, it'll attract more guests. Hopefully, at least, and we can just continue charging for the rides and getting people in here. We're sitting at about 1,100 guests right now. I didn't really pay attention to the guest count too much at the beginning of the park, but we'll see what happens with that as we put in more and more rides. Right here, I just decided to start throwing in some trees. You can see the whole outer area of the park that's out of bounds is totally covered in trees, so this looks a little bit better once I fill it all in like this. And I'm trying to help the park rating as well by adding more scenery. That does go into your park rating. Your scenery rating is included in your overall park rating, along with like guest happiness and like quality of rides, I think, and some other factors as well. So right here, I'm more just trying to focus on the park rating at first, getting some more rides built and everything, and then we'll start looking a little bit more at that monthly profit from our rides. But in a park like this, where it's guests, they don't pay to enter the park. Well, I could probably increase the park entrance price, but they specifically made the goal of the park to have $10,000 a month come from rides, which I think that's a good goal for them to actually, like, make it that specific. That way I can't just like start a marketing campaign and boost the price of the entrance to the park by a bunch and then artificially increase my profits for one specific month or something like that, So as you can see here, the park rating is actually dropping. And then I noticed that guests are complaining about litter. So right when I hired those handymen, all of a sudden, or those janitors, I should say, all of a sudden my park rating boosted by almost 200 more. So we're at 841 here. Guest count about 1,200. You can see we've made plenty of money now at this point. We're sitting pretty with about $15,000 in the bank. And just using it to buy more rides. Park rating jumping up some more, adding more rides. Guest count skyrocketing actually now at this point, about 1,400. Gonna be about 1,500 pretty soon here. And there's that park rating goal being passed now with the addition of these rides. So now we're just looking for that monthly profit. Guest count all the way up into the 1,600s here. So I just missed out on that monthly profit that month. And I do get kind of stuck at about like $8,500 in profits. I mentioned earlier I kind of like having a bunch of light in this park, so throwing in some of these street lamps can make for a nice aesthetic all the way around the park. I think the guests kind of like it as well. So right here I sped it up, just you can see my profits there. Again, about 8,500. My guest count sitting about 1,750. So I go through and I raise the prices of rides a little bit, hoping that'll boost me up over. So just keep an eye on that, the ride profit there on the left in my objectives. Hitting that 9,000 mark, and I barely missed that $10,000. So I raised my prices again just a little bit. My guest count is staying pretty steady around 1,700. I decided to go for a couple of advertising campaigns, try to get some more guests into the park to boost that. So now again, just kind of watching my profits. I'm seeing to make sure if anyone's complaining or anything like that. Nothing too bad there as far as complaints go. Trying to make sure my staff is nice and happy as well. And then we just miss out on the profits again. And that month was actually even worse than the previous month. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I do another advertising campaign, this time a TV campaign, which is supposed to bring in more guests than the smaller paper campaigns. But you can see my guest count is still just sitting about that 1,700 mark, just under it. And now the guests start flowing in, I think, from those advertising campaigns. So I'm watching my profits again here. And I get a little bit worried that I'm not going to hit it. 6,007. And then at about 7.5 it stops again. When it gets to the next month. So what I decided to do is, hey, you know, let's try and build another ride or two to maybe get more guests into the park, or try and disperse guests around and get more profit. If guests are stuck in queue lines or something, you know, might as well just build a couple of rides that are the same as the others. I've already got 2 from the beginning of the park, so that's what I go with. And I decided to build a companion ride for this drop-off ride.
Considering how much was missing when we got here, I'm amazed at how the park looks now. Well, what you can see of it. Serious grants.
I quite agree, Lucy. What a park rating! What a massive profit! And what the heck are we still doing here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if one set of managers can disappear, then what's to say it won't happen again? Hey, Oswald. Oswald?
And there you have it. So I did have a couple months there where I was just struggling to get over that $10,000 hump, but it wasn't too crazy. I think I went through like 3 cycles or something where I finally figured it out. Okay, just add more and more rides. A little disappointing that I didn't get to build a roller coaster, but hopefully we will in the next ceremony. It's next scenario, right? Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you'd like to support the channel more, consider becoming a member. It's just a small donation monthly that goes to my channel, and it would help me to make much better and more regular content in the future. Again, thanks for all the support. See you guys next time.